Peep 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 peep. Wait a minute. That's a different streamer. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna let things kind of. Let's see if anybody, wants to come in here. It's fine if nobody comes. I'm just gonna delete this anyway. You know, just yeah. I'm just kind of in the mood to answer questions if need be, if there are any questions at all. In the first place, that is. Yep. So, I'm just kind of sharing this around. Let me see if there is. Yeah, might as well do this sort of thing. You know, I've actually thought about doing this for quite a while now. Doing a late night AMA thing. Just kind of chilling about. Answering some questions, maybe watch a few videos and the like. Just doing casual stuff, I suppose. But you know, I don't know. I'm just kind of uh not exactly much of a streaming type, more of an offline content creator sort of deal. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait it out, see if anybody comes in. If nobody comes in, then I'm just gonna end the stream and just kind of you know pretend this never happened. But if there is anybody who wants to come in and ask me questions or two, maybe a bunch, if need be, then you know what? Feel free to do so. Let's hopefully I do get a question to answer because that'd be nice. Actually, you know what? Might as well change the background while I'm at it. See if there are any good like beach backgrounds that I can use as like something to need good like decent resolution beach backgrounds. You know what? One looks good, I guess. Yeah, let me change the background real quick. Might as well. Something a little bit more casual. Yep. There we go. There we go. Seems like a nice background, I guess. If it like ever pops up on screen on the actual stream itself, that is. There we go. All right. Just noticed that on the preview, so I guess it's just a matter of waiting. Yeah, you know, it's late night AMA. If I don't get anything, then I'm just going to delete this, pretend it never happened. Maybe wait some other time or the like when there are more people. I guess more people awake. But, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. Yep. Just going to go ahead and. Can't really listen to music right now. Otherwise, this will be DMCA'd. I can at least just kind of go on Twitter, wait for anybody to come in. Might as well. Yeah, just scroll through Twitter, kind of wait for an excuse to kind of shoot the shit, so to speak. Yeah, just do whatever, I guess. What can I do? You know? Yeah, what can I do at this rate? Preview still looks good. So just I shall answer. Yep. It's as simple as that, really. Plop a question on there, on that there text chat box. I shall try to answer as much as I can. Ooh, I forgot to turn on the alerts here for there we go. Yeah. Build a sandcastle? Kind of impossible since I'm not actually on a beach, but I can pretend that I'm building a sandcastle. Maybe I can find a sandcastle online. Hold on a bit. Sandcastle. Let's see here. Oh, there are a number of sandcastles I can maybe use. Maybe. If I can get a decent download of it. Is there any clip art that I can just kind of plop on the screen? Yes, there is. Doesn't really match the style that doesn't really match, but what can you do? I guess let me just put that image on the screen. Doesn't really fit, but it's something. There's your sandcastle right there. Yep. Just kind of, again, this is kind of a stream where I'm just whatever comes my way, whatever question comes my way. If anybody has questions about, I don't know, where I've been, how I'm doing, or why I haven't really been doing anything, that's the point of this stream, I guess. Late night. Already took my medications. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm kind of relaxed. I just figure, you know what? If anybody has like any questions, maybe though anybody who's like viewed my content for a while, though I don't know. I always get the feeling that whatever audience I had in the past have just kind of moved on, which fair is fair. Life goes on. You can't really do. How's my week? My week has been um let's just say that I'm going through things. I lost my job like months back. Not going to go into it because it's a little bit too personal. But um, let's just say that I was let go, I guess you could say, and been dealing with the aftermath of that. Been job hunting, but ever since. But I've gotten like a temporary position at a place, but it was only temporary. I already went through my 30-day obligation at that place, and I'm kind of moving on to like something else, or like trying to find something else. A new job. It's one of those things where I'm selling things. Whatever possessions I had before, I kind of have to let go, just to kind of make ends meet, and just I'm applying left and right. I'm not just sitting down like doing nothing. Uh, I'm just kind of I don't know. I'm trying. You know, Not much I can do, but just apply to places, do job interviews. If I ever get job interviews, then go through them. Beggars can't be choosers, as you said, GG 1954. You put it pretty. That's pretty much the correct saying. in my current life situation. I'm definitely looking for whatever work I can find. Um, which, yes, gets in the way of, in a way, it gets in the. I mean, on one hand, I have like time to make content, but with everything that's going on in my life, I mean, I said that I was going to make a Fate Stay Night or a Fate related video as my next major video would be like Fate related, but I'm going to have to put that on hiatus because of everything that's going on. Because I'm on my toes, you know. I gotta set my priorities, and my priorities in life right now are tumultuous right now. So, but I'll stream on the occasions when I feel like it. I definitely want to collab with somebody if I ever get the chance to collab with anybody. It'd be nice to collab with someone. Doesn't I'm not saying like, collabing with anyone bigger or anything, views and all that jazz, but just I don't know, just something to have fun with, something to distract myself from the doom and gloom that might face. Because let me put it this way: if I don't find like a job that like by the end of June, there's a chance that I might be homeless. Probably, there is a chance. I have obligations that I have to meet, and well, uh, I'm still applying. I hope there's still enough time to kind of course correct things, but for what it's worth, and for what it's worth, anybody who has an open ear, I'm glad, that I'm glad to talk to anybody, just to kind of, I don't know, listen, talk to, anything to just kind of keep my mind off things, just let's just say that I've become a bit humbled over time. I regret certain things. I've alienated certain people who I used to be pretty close with. I've alienated connections that I used to have. They're gone. But life goes on, life just goes on. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. Not anymore. I've dwelled on it too long. Now I got to focus on the important things, and I don't know, just try to see if I can just survive, you know? I guess I'm just trying to survive at the moment. I can't just, but yeah, I hope that answers your question about my week. Or rather, it's basically take with that, but transition it to my life in general. I hope, and yeah, thank you for hoping things work out for me. I hope things work out in some way. Hopefully, I do find a new job. Um, yeah, so I guess this kind of format of just kind of being up late and just answering whatever comes my way, it could be anything. Like literally ask me anything. That's the point. Ask me, like, shoot the shit, and I will shoot the shit back, so to speak. So yeah. Um, while I do so, I'll also be on Twitter as well. Um, I mean, let me put it this way. I guess I might have invested in my YouTube channel a little too much. Kind of reinventing it a little too much. I mean, I like the model that I have. This model. I like having it, but ultimately, it hasn't really gotten me too far with anything. But you know what? I'm not. Again, I'm not going to dwell on it. It is what it is. Yeah. So hopefully, I wish to just have a casual late night stream where I just talk and talk and Yeah, you know. Any other questions one may have? Because I'm all ears at this point. Let me see. Let me check on the preview window here. See how. Okay, it looks like the stream is still going, which is nice. Still going all right. Just kind of looking at the preview window. How's the audio? Let me preview it. How's the audio? Let me preview it. Guess the audio's okay. So I wish I was in a better environment where I wish my laptop wasn't like right here, kind of blowing off like a steam like a jet engine. Otherwise my audio would be a lot cleaner. I wouldn't have to rely on NVIDIA broadcast noise isolation feature because it's kind of weird. It kind of messes with the quality. Like um, so yeah. Any questions that come my way, I shall answer. But I guess it's kind of stopped for the time being. But that's okay. You know, I take it one question at a time. Let's see here. What's going on Twitter lately? Probably nothing. Not much. Not a whole lot of good. Had writer's strike though. I mean, what were your first thoughts when you were introduced to the Fate series? Well, okay, so I was introduced to the Fate series. This was before the Fate Zero anime, but I was introduced to the Fate series back in 2011 through the Fate 2006 anime, right? The 2006 anime by Studio Dean. That was my introduction to the Fate series, and my first thoughts were, okay, Shiro is kind of bland. He's a bland character, but it's entertaining. I like the setup, the plot. The plot seems to be pretty interesting. The setup, with the Holy Grail War and the servants and masters and the magic and the world. Not knowing, of course, that the novel goes into it a lot deeper and a lot better, fleshes out characters a lot more, especially Shiro. Shiro is a more multi-dimensional character in the novel because it's from his point of view. The novel, the first you get to know his thoughts better, his mindset better, um, why he does what he does, a lot better than the 2006 anime, and really any of the animes in general. Really, you just don't get the same. Um, you don't get the same understanding of Shiro's point of view in any of the animes. Even if regardless of quality. Um, Another thing that the novel, like, I mean, there's okay. Let me put it this way: there's a reason why there are Fate fans who wish there was a proper, like, a readaptation of the Fate route. It's because they omit or streamline certain things that I wish they didn't with the Fate 2006 anime. Well, okay, Fate the 2006 anime is kind of like an amalgamation, right? But let's face it, a straight up adaptation of the Fate route, and exclusively the Fate storyline would be very welcome because not everything from the storyline was properly adapted, especially like Saber's backstory, the fact that the nature of her pact with the Earth, to become like the pact she made with the planet, what that entails, the fact that she's not actually a heroic spirit per se, but rather her soul is just kind of time traveled. And there's of course the implication. It's not said, but there is an implication that's Saber might have been in more like Holy Grail wars, that then she lets on. Like this isn't her first rodeo, trying to find the Holy Grail. But again, it's an implied thing, not really something that's outright said. For all we know, the fifth Holy Grail War could very well be her first Holy Grail War. But basically, they omit that in the 2006 anime. Which was a very interesting thing about her as a character. The fact that she's not a heroic spirit, and that when they say that like Saber is like dreaming, when it's kind of a metaphor for her, her soul, her uh, being in the future, kind of that she's living in the future, you know, to fight in this Holy Grail, to attain the Holy Grail, so she could change her past, and the questions and possible like issues that kind of thing can bring up. Because Saber's a really selfish character, but just like Shiro is, like Shiro and Saber are both selfish in their own way, which is kind of the point. Um, like essentially wants someone else to be king, so the ruin of Camelot could be on their shoulders rather than hers, which in a way is kind of messed up. There's like it's pretty selfish of her to want someone else to suffer instead of her. The burden of having Camelot fall to ruin. You know that element is missing from the 2006 anime. Which so there are multiple reasons why a Fate route readaptation is wanted. It's not simply because hey it's more Fate Stay Night anime. It's because the Fate route as it is was never properly adapted as well as it should be, and that the perception of Saber, the popular perception of Saber being a bland character, quote unquote, is because we don't have a proper adaptation that's of the storyline that's basically about her. We don't. That's something that I've learned over the years. Reading the novel twice, essentially. That Saber is not a bland character. The problem is that she's actually a multifaceted character. That's really interesting, but only if the story is about her, which is what the Fate route is. So, come on, Ufotable or Type Moon or whoever, just give us just give us a new adaptation of the Fate route. Potentially dispel the perception among like the anime only crowd that Saber is this one dimensional, one note like like person who is a big ball of nothing, which is unfortunate because the story's got to be about her for her to be interesting, and she is very interesting as a character. I went on too long with that question, but I know you just want to know like one of my first thoughts about when I was introduced to the Fate series, and I guess to boil it down is, I 2006 the 2006 anime is interesting. It introduced me to the concept and the lore, and I just kind of bounced. I springboarded from there. Fate Zero turned me into a Fate fan. Then I eventually read the novel, and I became even more of a fan. To the point where it's pretty much my go to series. It's my fandom, essentially. At least for the Stay Night. Grand Order. I've fallen off of Grand Order. I'm not really too big on the spin-offs, but when you talk about like Stay Night, when you keep it at stay night, yeah, I do have words to say about stay night and anything related to that branch. So yeah, I've gone on too long on that question. If I apologize if I went on, a little too much. Um, yeah. Let's see what else is going on Twitter. Redfall looks to be a floppy pancake. It's kind of a failure. Looks like. I don't know what people saw in that game. Honestly, when I first saw gameplay, like I knew that Redfall was like, I don't know. Nothing about Redfall really interested me at all. It's a 4-player open world co-op shooter, bang shooty bang bang. Which I mean, unless it's Left 4 Dead, honestly, I whatever. It could be good, it could be bad, but it looks like Redfall turned out not to be so great. At least that's the word of mouth going about it. I never played it, so I wouldn't really know. Let's see here. So yeah, I wish there were more people, asking questions, but questions are questions, so that's fine. And I'm glad that I'm all right. That my answer was all right, despite going on a little too long. Actually, what's going on with the alerts here? Okay, usually there will be like text on the screen to like pop up and yeah, hold on a bit. $70. Video games costing $70 in this economy, especially since I don't have a job at the moment. Yeah, I'm not stoked on $70 video games. The fact that I have to basically, if I ever wanted like a new video game, I mean, when I got the Resident Evil 4 remake, I had to basically like trade in like several games that I had from my library in order to afford it, just to make sure that the damage to my wallet wasn't so steep. Ironic, since at least at this current time, I might have to like trade in Resident Evil 4 remake, a game I traded games for to play. Which Resident Evil 4 remake was pretty good. That's a good game right there. Very satisfying game. Resident Evil 4 remake. Never played the original though, so I can't comment on the original, unfortunately. But I heard the but I am aware of the original Resident Evil 4's reputation as being like a legendary game. It was definitely talked about when I was growing up. You know, people wouldn't stop talking about Resident Evil 4 back in the day. Back when it was brand new, and God, I still remember that like it was like a week ago. The release of that game. I had a GameCube too, but I never got it. Never got Resident Evil, and I didn't get into Resident Evil until Resident Evil 2 No, no, actually no. I got into Resident Evil through Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 was good. I liked Resident Evil 7, and I kind of springboarded from there. Remake 2. I never finished the remake of 3. Resident Evil, I actually really like Resident Evil Village. I thought it was like a nice like thriller, pulpy, like stupid but entertaining like a thrill ride from beginning to end. I even got the DLC, the Shadow of Rose DLC for it. That was good DLC. If you ask me, that was some good DLC. What other video game related thing? I had to sell my Switch. I got the I actually Yeah, I traded half of my video game library to afford the Tears of the Kingdom special edition Switch, only to turn around and have to sell it because of my current situation. I could not keep that thing for very long, which sucks because I bought Persona 3 and 4 on the eShop. Cuz like I don't know, the Persona games, would be I mean, I after like, playing, like Persona on, on the Switch, I get why people were so adamant about, having Persona 5 be ported to the Switch because, it's the ideal game to like have the ideal game to play while you're, whether it's the TV or whether you're playing it on the toilet, you know. Definitely the ideal game to have on ideal games rather to have on the Switch, but these are tough times for me, so I had to let that thing go. But hopefully the new owner, whenever it arrives to the new owner, um hopefully he or she takes good care of it. Cuz it's a beautiful Switch, man. I couldn't resist. I looked at like first glance at the design of the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that is such a pretty Switch. That's such a beautifully designed Switch." Like if you haven't like seen like the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom special edition Switch, I mean, how could you not want to own it? At least to me, I couldn't resist. Like trading in half of my PS4, PS5 games library just to get just to get the GameStop store credit to like, lighten the load monetarily, the monetary load. Um but yeah, I couldn't keep it unfortunately. So it's off to someone else. But that's okay. I might get another Switch later if I ever get a new job and I save enough. Maybe I'll get to go back to playing Persona 4 on the toilet, which is a nice feature to have. Thank you, Nintendo. Even if Nintendo is kind of um not necessarily evil, but definitely they definitely do have a way with cracking down on people, on pirates and hackers in particular. I mean, like what did they sued a hacker to into basically like slave debt like recently, and like, oh, that's harsh. Nintendo doesn't play around. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going on a tangent about stuff. So, but um, I guess I'm just kind of thinking about stuff from life recently that I can talk about, just to just to have something to talk about. Um, because I'm still selling stuff. I had to sell my iPad, which was useful for like, kind of keeping track of like streams and all that. I had an iPad Pro that I had to give away, like sell away. I had to sell away some figures, sell this, sell that, whatever, you know, whatever, keeps me afloat. Um, $70 for video games. That's yeah, that's too much. That's too high. Even though technically it aligns with inflation, man, inflation is one tough cookie. And that's the thing. I actually called, that inflation would be a thing, during the pandemic. Like I knew that, stimuluses and all that jazz, and people losing their jobs and the like, oh, this is not going to be good. There's going to be things are going to be inflated up the wazoo at that rate. And what do you know? Inflation is kicked in, and apparently it's affected the job market, since I'm still trying to find a job after how many months. But I'm still trying to kick around. In other news, I recently got in contact with a comic with an artist who like specializes in concept art, but also has aspirations to be a comic book artist. And okay, either he or she's, I don't know the person's gender, but the art that I've been shown is pretty promising, because I've always wanted to make a comic, because I mean, like, I've been writing on Honeyfeed, but I've always wanted to like be a comic book writer, or at least a writer in the visual medium, right? Comics, films, whatever, Um, and I've met someone who, if I had the money, I would totally like help achieve that goal. But that would have to be something to save up for, unfortunately. So I can't really do any projects, like special projects, as I am now. But one day, maybe one day, someday, I'll make my dream a reality. Bring Kitty Sugawara here onto the comic book pages. That'd be swell, you know? That'd be really swell to do. I would really like that. I mean, let me see if I mean, hopefully, I don't need like permission. He or she would probably be okay with like showing this off on stream. Maybe, probably. I did commission it. I did pay for this like concept. So I could like show it off. This thing. It's basically it's a concept image, essentially, of Kitty, but not in a brand new style, in a comic book style, Western style, which is intended. So basically, let me see here. So it's now it's not finished. Um, the artist hasn't really like completed it yet, because this artist, who I'm going to call, who goes by the name of Magda. Let's just call him or her Magda. Magda has done, even as of now, like a pretty good job, like going for the, because I want to go for like a Western noir style, right? For a comic book project, like not like an anime style, but like some that's like akin to like a noir comic. Black and white, like lots of shadows and stuff. Like, so I've been talking about, like, with this artist, doing something like that in the future, and hopefully Magda will will be around if I ever get the funding, on my end. I don't want to rely on like charity. I don't want to rely on like, like a GoFundMe or whatever. I don't want to rely on, like, I want to try to avoid that, like try avoid like begging or whatever, because that's just, I don't know. I find that to be kind of to be a little too desperate. Whatever problems I have financially, I got to solve on my own. But basically, I don't know. I got to solve it one way or another. But it's going to be hard. But you know what? I'm just, basically, I want it to be a throwback to, hold on a bit. Trying to find a good image that really illustrates like the style that I want to go for with the comic. Admittedly, like I am a fan of Razor Fist. I'm not sure if you've heard of Razor Fist, but recently I think he's like doing, he's already published, like a couple of novels, and he's already doing his own like comic book or graphic novel rather. And I'm like, if someone like if a YouTuber can, go willy nilly with, making a comic book, why can't I, at some point, this is basically what I want to go for. I want to go for inky blacks, lots of shadows, purely black and white noir, old fashioned shit, like independent style. So that's something that I plan on doing if I ever get the opportunity to like make this thing, because I do have to like I do have to raise funds. I have to raise funds to to do this on my end. Whether it be raising funds over the course of a year, 2 years, maybe by some miracle I get the funds sooner somehow. I don't know. Regardless, I just hope I find a new job so I can start saving up. You know, because I have dreams. I have my own dreams in mind, and having a goal like this, I don't know, it gives me something to look forward to, I guess. But yeah, just I'm just really attracted to noir. I love film noir, and I want my story to be a throwback to that. You know, so like a sci-fi noir story, which you could technically already like read on Honey Feed, but I want to make it a comic book. So, but I guess that's enough about just kind of going on about like goals and about that comic stuff. That's I guess that's like that's something that's way off. In the potential future, I guess. Just just a concept at this point. Okay, going back on Twitter, I see Riz here. I know a person, I know a dude or dudette rather, uh, by the name of Pearl T Riz, Pearl T Rizzy. Yeah, we've been pals since 2011, either 2010 or 2011, around that time. I mean, he has his own like relatively successful like web comic going on. So hey, it'd be cool to like hire an artist, exercise some writing chops, and have a comic to of my own. He has or rather, she has her comic. I want to have my comic too. That'd be cool. I want to do it because you know what? It'd be fulfilling. It would just be fulfilling. That'd be nice. Let me see. Let's see how stream health is. Stream health still is relatively healthy. according to YouTube at least. Um, what else is going on Twitter? If only I could like. I've always wanted to collab with another VTuber. You know, I just want to collab with somebody, whether it's streaming or a project. I never. It's been a long, long time since I've collaborated with anybody. The people that I've collaborated with have essentially moved on like a long time ago or don't like me anymore, which I'm not going to go into, but it involves drama that I don't want to specify or whatever because it's part of it is my fault. Looking back, I was a jackass, straight up. Yeah, I was just a straight up jackass, and I've alienated and burned bridges with people that never should have had. I never should have. Depressing. I guess it's depressing in a way, but I acknowledge it. And if only I could talk to those people again, I would. I don't know. I wouldn't even know if they would even accept my apology. They probably would. Maybe some of them probably wouldn't. You know, because I've been on this website for a long time. You know, um, been on this. I've seen a lot of things. I've technically been on YouTube since 2007. Technically, with my like original like first channel being all the way back in the olden days of YouTube. The simpler days before the DMCA stuff and Adpocalypse and other such things, happened to the site. I still remember the old layout, the old profiles, the OGs of that time, and I've met some people. Some of them were some of them friendship, but some people have also left, or a lot, rather, I guess plenty of people have left. But I'm still here, and I'm still here. And I guess what's supposed to be an AMA stream, I guess it's just me kind of casually letting out what's on my mind in this late night. Not exactly the kind of content that I actually do want to make, or want to put out, but it's something I feel like doing. Because I mean, let's face it, I'm not growing any larger. I've actually been shrinking, but I'm not going to beg for people to watch. I'm not going to beg for. I'm not going to get down on my knees and pathetically, like, whimper and scream at the top of my lungs, watch me. Anybody who wants to watch, you're free to watch. Watch my content if you wish. I just wish that I could apologize to some people. You know, some people who just wanted to help me. You know, they only just want to set me on the right path, and and I let them go. Yeah. Oh, it's not on screen, but I'm actually kind of tearing up a little bit. But tearing up a little bit thinking about it. But it's past is past, I guess. Not much I can do. I'll admit I am depressed, but that's my problem, you know? Anyway, this is supposed to be an AMA stream. I don't know like what happened along the way. Um I guess it's the time. I guess it's because it's late so late at night. It's alone. I'm alone in my room just kind of shooting the shit. Yeah. Suppose I wish I could turn back time, but can't do that. Got to keep going, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be something else I can talk about that's, more, you know, casual, you know? I mean, if you don't mind, if anybody doesn't mind that I do this, even on once or whatever, because there was a time where, I would have people asking questions that I could answer, but, I don't know. I guess it just kind of, I think it's just kind of railroaded, like gone off the rails at this point. What else though? Um, let's see. I have some at least. At least at the very least, I have somebody who's there is one per I'm in like the English like VTuber Discord. Um, and I had someone like interact and to my post, asking for a collab to play like maybe Halo. Have someone who's might be interested in that, so maybe I might collab after all with somebody. Maybe not someone you know, but somebody. That'd be nice. Playing co-op. Shoot. That'd be cool. I don't know. It's just not the same without. I guess it's just not the same without the some of the people that I used to know. But they're doing their thing. I'm doing mine's. Well, it's not set in stone yet, Sean. It's still have to plan it out, but hopefully I get to collab with somebody on stream. Um, what else? I mean, there was a time where I used to like this is like the old days, man. I used to know Giguk, used to know Holden. Um, back before, I don't know, somewhere along the way I pissed in people's cereal when I shouldn't have. The alienated people, when if I had a clearer head, if I had a clearer head, I would have been less alone. I guess that's the problem. I am alone at the moment, or at least not alone right now. I guess you guys are here, which is good. But I'm talking about spiritually, you know, or whatever constitutes as like spiritual, whatever constitutes as like a spirit. I'm not really kind of on my own at the moment, so they're doing. I'm glad that they're doing good. You know, I'm glad that Yusuf, he's always wanted to do Oda-chan, make Oda-chan a thing, and it's a thing, all right. He made it a thing. Did a great job, job of it. Um, Glenn, I don't know about Glenn. I think he's on the team Oda-chan. I think he helps out with that. We don't. I don't know. I don't really know these people anymore. Really, we don't talk. No, nor do they want to talk to me. You know. Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't really want to talk to me anymore, which is understandable. It's understandable. Yeah. Let's see what else. Riz is still doing some pretty good tweeting there. I don't know. I'm just kind of scrolling through Twitter. You know what? Screw it. I might as well like put Twitter on the screen. I guess. See if I can like. Let's see here. How do I do this? Hold on. Just kind of, I don't know. Bear with me, I guess. Yeah. As yes, I'm currently like. All right. If you have shitty handwriting, please, for the love of God, let someone else write birth certificate from form for you. One of my cousins had his daughter legally named Nokia. It was supposed to be Nakia. Well, that's unfortunate, but yeah, that's unfortunate. What's the story behind your model? Like, what inspired it? Additionally, does the character have any lore? Yes. My model is Kitty Sugawara. She's supposed to be the protagonist of my story. That you know, I'm supposed to be writing on Honeyfeed. It's incomplete, but it's called The Kitty from Wives to Wormholes. You can actually read it. She's basically the and really even before writing the story, Kitty Sugawara was always Kitty was always like the mascot of the channel, one way or another. I can actually go through it, a little bit. Here's like the link to like the the story, by the way, even though it's like not complete at all. Uh, Suffice to say, the lore, well, the story is the lore essentially. But the origins of Kitty being a character has actually started all the way like pretty much throughout my channel. Really, let me like show off like a piece of art that let me show off a piece of art that um okay, so I might have mentioned someone, Riz. She's the original, she's the co-creator of Kitty, basically, and it basically started all the way back with if I can find it, bam, Meet Kitty 1.0 by Riz, right? Now, when I was like initially doing like reviews, okay, I used you ever played Katawa Shoujo? Ever heard of Katawa Shoujo? For a time, I used Rin Tezuka from Katawa Shoujo as my avatar for my channel, like way back in the day. Eventually, I wanted uh, my own like avatar, so I told I basically went to Riz, and I'm like, hey Riz, I have this idea for like a character. At the time, I couldn't like pay for anything. I was like in the Philippines. I didn't have my own bank account. I didn't have a job. I was basically a NEET in the Philippines. Very sheltered life, but he was willing to like do this character essentially for free. Um, so initially, Kitty was not supposed to be like what she is now, but rather like a kind of like a grindcore, like a grindhouse inspired character, like a grindhouse meets anime kind of character, like she's a Neko Mimi who dual wields revolvers and has a katana on her back, you know, and which is like a pretty much like a grindcore, grindhouse meets anime concept, really. Of a Nekomimi wearing a schoolgirl uniform with guns and a sword. So he did it for he at the time he was a he, she was a he, did it for free, which I can never thank enough. I wish I could have. I wish I had the ability to pay him, or pay her or him at the time for doing this for me. Eventually, of course, this is like one Kitty 1.0. So let me introduce. Eventually, as my channel kind of grew and I had like more viewers and the like, around 2014, basically, this was like 2013. Where's the 2014 version? Well, let me try to find 2014 Kitty. Eventually, around 2014, let's see here. Um, Riz again updated Kitty. Essentially the same concept, but of a much higher quality. And I would say that Riz. I mean, let me link. Let me link. I might as well like link Riz. Riz's Twitter. Let me link Riz's Twitter. Not that she. I I wish I could thank Riz more. for what he's done. Yeah, this is basically, yeah, like this was like at the height of my channel, basically. Kitty 2.0 was like, cuz cuz Riz is basically essentially Kitty's like he she and I are basically her creator, you know. I'm the concept guy. She was the artist. I mean, technically speaking, like this character is also hers. Really, technically, if she wanted to, she could do whatever she wants with Kitty. But you know, um, but yeah, this is Kitty 2.0, 2014, circa 2014 to 2020, right? Uh, which is really nice. This was like a nice at the time. Um, if you go through my older stuff around that time, you would see, you know, Kitty 2.0 around. Uh, Eventually, during 2020, I decided to like do like a rebrand, right? Called the original, like the Anime Outsider, or because I figured, I figured I wanted to go in a more edgier direction, right? Like I thought about going in an edgier, like more long form direction after like taking a hiatus from content creation. So at the time, I was friends with Go Jesus, right? So I'm like, hey, Go Jesus, like I wanted to do like a rebrand. I told Go Jesus about it. And Go Jesus, okay, so basically, this is basically the start of where Kitty is now, like design wise, right? Actually, there's more to it than this. So it initially started as a concept sketch by Go Jesus, if I can find it. So I'm like, okay, I want to update Kitty. I want to make her look a little more edgy. I want her to be more, I don't know, like noir inspired or something. Yeah, Go Jesus is gone. Like he's gone off the he's gone on with life. He doesn't make content anymore, really. He's focused on his own life, and we don't talk anymore. Let's just say that he and I, we've gone our separate ways. Let's just put it that way. But which I guess is par for the course. But where's the concept art? I swear to God, I should have like kept better care of like sorting out my concept arts. Hold on a bit. Still trying to find it because okay, basically, Go Jesus was enough of a bro to like essentially remodel to essentially update Kitty for a more like edgier um rebrand, I guess. Uh, can't find the initial sketch anywhere because there is an initial sketch. I just can't find it. I guess. Okay, I mean, there's. Hold on. Where is that initial sketch, man? I should have kept keep better track of that. Yeah, I'm just going to like. I guess I should just stop. So basically, tried to do a rebrand. Tried to go for Hollow of Dawn, the original anime Outsider, right? This is like the design by Go Jesus, right? Go Jesus did this whole thing. He did the kitty design. She had white boots at the time. He did like the city background. I so I tried to do like a rebrand, another rebrand for 2020. Um, my 2020 didn't go so well. I didn't really upload as much as I should have. Of course, 2020 was a bad time in general. But go again. Go Jesus was enough of a was so fucking cool. Like 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 doing this for me. Um, in a way, like he deserves credit for Kitty as well. I guess especially particularly the current iteration of Kitty. Um, then as the Kitty character, okay, because initially I had the idea. Right, here's the idea for the rebrand. Um, the initial idea was that I would make a storyline, right? I would make my video content like story based. And each video of the anime Outsider would essentially would have a narrative through line uh throughout. Um Kind of like in a visual novel style. And it would like eventually lead up to this big storyline that I initially had in my head called Yearning. Yearning was going to be like this big storyline that would require like artists, right? Like like I had plans to like make a big like narrative like driven like thing out of Kitty for my video content. Um which eventually led to me writing the Kitty in like as in general, but that was the initial idea was that I would make Kitty have a storyline behind her. Um let's see here. Like it was to the point where I sought out like an artist, and let's see here if I can like I sought out an artist to create a character sheet. Right now, the artist that I ended up going for was an artist by the name of Kenzo Teruya, whom I'm still in his Discord. He's a Brazilian artist, but he does an amazing anime style, and he's only gotten better since doing this. But he's essentially the responsible for the current like design of Kitty, like in general, like as she is, as she looks now. With the revolvers, with the coat, with the boots are now brown. Brown like combat boots. You know, I also hired like more artists to design the guns. The guns were done by another artist. Basically, I have other like images of like weapons and stuff. Hold on, let me show you some of the like concept designs that I made that had commissioned for. So basically, I had Kitty's revolver. Even Kitty's revolvers like have a lore, right? They're called the Heston Futura Rev Sevens. They're a sci-fi human based energy magnums. They were made by an artist who at least used to go by Ray. I think she goes by a different name now, if she does stuff like still. But this is not just the only weapon. Like there are like other like designs for guns for this like story for the storyline based like approach that I wanted to go for. Like this is like the QAR, the Quantic Automatic Rifle, right here. It's a rifle that Kitty would face, like essentially her enemies would have these rifles. Um, because around this time I wanted to have a storyline going on, that to the point where I started to commission all these different artworks and stuff of the world. What kind of world does Kitty live in? She lives in a sci-fi world on a planet called the Amaron system. The Ramobilk Amundsen M2A5, this which is inspired by the Thompson rifle. The Thompsons of the World War II. Basically, I would have like weapons, look like a World War II guns, but sci-fi versions of World War II guns. Because the world would have been like inspired by old school vintage sci-fi, meets like pulp fiction, westerns, film noir of the 40s and 50s, and any other culture like from the early 20th century, like the 1920s, the 30s, the 1940s, 1950s, because that's what I want, that kind of like, storyline going on, that kind of style. And yeah, I went hog wild going through like getting these concept art made and you know all that jazz just so I can achieve this like narrative based approach to content creation, uh which unfortunately I don't, it just never panned out. It never panned out that way. It didn't turn out. It just didn't happen, for due to not having enough resources. Because doing this kind of thing would have required resources that were beyond my ability to gather. Because I would have to hire people or commission people. That's only if they're available. And overall, the idea just didn't go anywhere. To the point where eventually I just decided, you know what, screw it. I'm going to start writing stories about her, about Kitty. Hence, the Kitty from Wives to Wormholes exists, um, as a thing on Honeyfeed. Um, but yeah, like I started to like just create more and more, like images and concepts. And oh, here's the original sketch by Go Jesus right here. Here it is. This is the initial sketch by Go Jesus. Go Jesus made this initial sketch, and this was like the backbone of Kitty's current design, the denim jacket, and all that jazz. So there it is. Um, and let's see here. Like, yeah, I started to just do more and more, commission more and more art. Eventually, of course, as time went on, and the VTuber, thing, started to like really take off with people. I then started to wonder, like, I then started to think about doing another go. I basically eventually I started to get tired of the anime outsider like style, and I wanted to go back to something that's more like how I used to be. Except this time I wanted to be a VTuber, you know? So I wanted to I wanted to, so I wanted to like come back, do another rebrand. I dropped the narrative based like approach, but I had like another idea. Why not come back as as a VTuber, but rebrand myself as like a V critic, which, you know what? It seemed like a good idea at the time, and I guess it's a good idea. I guess it's technically a good idea on paper. Um, Being a V critic, the V critic concept. Um, it's just so I so eventually I started to like seek out people to make a model on Twitter. While I was at work, like literally while I'm working, I'm going between doing my tasks at work and being on Twitter, just scrolling through Twitter, looking for someone who does uh, live 2D art and live 2D rigging. So, and eventually I found someone. Her name is Artha. Let me actually link Artha's profile because I think Artha deserves whatever attention she can get. She's a trooper, right? I appreciate anybody who like helps out and does this kind of stuff. So here's Artha's um like Twitter profile. So I look at Artha's stuff and I'm like, oh my god, like this looks really promising. So I contacted her while I was at work, right? And I'm like, hey, like, what's your rate? And it's like, it's this amount for this, and this, and extras cost this much and much. And I just kind of went ahead and did it without thinking about it, like financially, right? Like I poured like, because again, like I'm pouring like finances, like money, and whatever credit I had left on my credit cards to do these kind of things. Um, until eventually, and so like I essentially commissioned her to create the kitty that I mean technically you already see the model as it is, but like here's like the PNG here. She created this, and I'm like hell yeah, like let's continue, like the original images. Here's the original like initial sketch right here that Artha made, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be so cool. I can't wait to like go forward with the V critic concept. Um, like it's especially since I've always been off camera, pretty much like to have an avatar that can animate and I can like and can like and responds and reacts to my own facial expressions without me having to be on camera. That's so cool. That could be something I could use as like filler during my videos. Like it would actually help me, kind of make videos because I don't have to use footage, for everything. Because copyright things, you got to make sure you don't use clips from anime, that are too long because of YouTube's like copyright, like the bots, scanning your stuff. So having a model would actually help me, kind of fill things out, fill videos out instead of having, like blank space or having a bunch of miscellaneous clips. Um, so I basically, so I thought about it at that angle as well. Um, so yeah, I had the model made. It costs over 800. I think I think it was closer to like $900, like 900 something dollars in total for the model and and the expressions that the model can do. Hold on, let me take the image off the screen here. and like she could, I can do this, could do that. I could be permanent. I could have starry eyes. My eyes are all starry and like or it could just be default like that. So I paid like in total like 900 something dollars um to have like the model and the features. And Artha did a pretty good job. Like no, great job. This is a good model. I love this model. I love it. But well, that only leads to like the question, to like a bigger question, like with all the investments that I've made for like rebrands and these concepts and the like it makes you wonder if like was it all worth it, you know? Was doing all this like really worth it? Like investing all this money into concept art, ideas, a model, all this time and money that was spent rather than, all this money that I spent could have gone to an artist, drawing a comic book for me, you know? Like writing, like me writing a comic book, hiring an artist to do the art for the said comic book. I don't know. It just makes me wonder like with all the things I could have done instead with the money I invested for the YouTube channel. In all honesty, it just never paid off, you know? Not to say I don't like it when people, I mean, I appreciate what, whatever views I get, And I like that, people are, anybody, if anybody's listening to this, I appreciate you listening to me and at least, having some interest, knowing about this stuff. But I can't say that whatever I've invested has really paid off. It just, it, at the end of the day, I invested all this money and time essentially to not have like a return on it. I ended up just kind of doing it because I could. But I never really stopped to think about whether or not I should, you know? As again, great work on the model. The model is great. All this art that I commissioned and all that, all this stuff. Cause if you ask me, having a model like this, beats having like a still image on the screen. Cause during the anime outsider phase, I used to have, I commissioned another artist to like do draw like different like sprite. Initially, the style was going to be like this, where I would have like different like sprites, essentially sprites, that I can like fill in. But like I could just have like a mod like a live 2D model, and it's more animated and the like. You know, this too. These sprites here are also another like investment that I made. But moving on from models and all that jazz, I can't say that it's been entirely worth it, you know. Especially now that I'm unemployed. I don't have any unemployment benefits. I'm selling things to get by. I'm I'm live streaming because I want to at this very very late at night. It's 3:12 a.m. where I'm at. I'm at a crossroads where like where do I go from here? And was doing all this really worth it? So far it hasn't been. Not to say, and I'm not going to beg or complain. But I am being real when I say that these things, I probably shouldn't have done these things at the end of the day, because my channel is not getting any bigger. Whenever I do any like content, I'm essentially doing it as a hobby. You know, if anything, I lose subscribers every time I upload anything. Right? I literally lose subscribe. I can make a new review. I can make a new video of any kind. I could make like a Fate Stay Night related essay. I could do anything Fate related or anime related or whatever related. And I lose subscribers like every time I do anything. I live stream and I lose subscribers. In fact, I've been losing a lot more subscribers because I've been live streaming lately. Um, so clearly it's what I am doing right now. Yeah, like yeah, Sean. Like I lose subscribers no matter what, no matter what content I make. Like even if I make the content that I usually make, you know, like anime reviewing, I guess has gone out of style. I don't know. It's always been my brand, whatever brand or the closest thing to a brand is that I'm a critic, you know? Like I'm a critic of things. And yeah, it isn't it hasn't really gone anywhere. If anything, I'm shrinking. So that's partly my fault again because I've lost contact with people. I don't know people anymore. I don't know some people anymore. I don't collaborate. I alienated people who could have helped out. I'm talking purely as like a realist, if you think about it like a business. I made some terrible business decisions, and I make no money doing what I do. I haven't gotten much of a return on what I do. And I'm not saying this because of greed or the like. I'm not saying this because I feel like I'm entitled to more, you know. What I am saying though is that I messed up somewhere along the way. I really fouled up. I screwed the pooch. And this is the consequence of screwing the pooch. Somewhere along the way, I fucked up badly, and I wish I could like change how things went in the past, but I have this model. I still have my laptop. So I suppose I've resigned myself to just kind of doing whatever I want, you know? Even if it gets me nowhere, even if it doesn't help me in the long run, I still have the freedom to do whatever, even if doing whatever isn't what people want me to do. And I'm aware of that. But even if I did do what people want me to do, would they care anymore? Because whatever audience I had in the old days, those people are gone now. They've moved on. They have other people to watch that are, I think, more talented than me, more knowledgeable than me, people who are smarter than me, people who have more resources than me, who have, better social skills and than I do. I'm just a dude with a model. Your channel might be algorithm poisoned at this point, and you might have better luck starting a second channel. I've thought about I've thought about that possibility, you know, of being algorithm poison. Like the algorithm has totally decided to drop my ass. But then again, I don't make content as much as I used to, partly because of life. And at some I got to concentrate on my problems that are going on in my life at the right now. So I can't really make content, and it sucks. It really does. But yeah, I've thought about making a second channel. Maybe, maybe. I mean, I even have like a Twitch, but I'm not. I don't use Twitch. Um, I tried like experimenting with Twitch. Eh, get 0 views, but it's whatever at this point. I'm not a live streamer. I'm not a streamer to begin with. Not much of a personality. But YouTube is very difficult to have steady income. It's sad, but a standard 9 to 5 job is needed to pay the bills. Yeah, indeed it is. Unless you're big, like a Nyanners or a Shy Lily or or somebody with clout. Unless you're somebody with clout and the like, which whatever clout I had has gone out the window, baby. Oh, it's been so long ago since I had any. Um, yeah. Uh, I yeah, it's tough. It really is. It really is tough. And some OGs have evolved and gone and are along with the times. They're doing just fine. But somebody like me, no, I did not. I failed to adapt. I failed to keep up. I alienated connections. Whatever network, whenever I failed to network, and I've gone nowhere as a result. So definitely hard. Absolutely. Again, like I'm just being real. I'm not. Again, I'm not trying to gain sympathy. That's not my intention. But I am being real. That you know. I mean, let me put it this way: I gained subscribers by doing nothing. Like I'm really poisoned. So bad. It sucks. Yeah. Yeah. To think, my dad at one point had hopes that I would make this like a career or something. That was a long time ago and it didn't pan out. That's life. That's life. Um, but what else to talk about? You know, Something that's more casual. I mean, if you have any questions you want to ask, like about like you, that's again like I guess that was the initial point of the stream, right? Just to ask questions and have answers to them. Which there've actually been some good questions. Like, the kitty question was a good question. Like the origin of kitty. That's pretty good. I like that. Um like thoughts on the Fate series? Yeah, I already covered that. It's like I I liked some of the questions that have come my way so far. Um let's see what else can I like show off that's like I never showed off before, right? So I have a bunch of things I haven't shown off, like that I had like planned out and stuff. Cause man, uh, cause yeah, like again, like I had like like story ideas and the like for Kitty, and a lot, and back in the day, I don't think it's possible to be successful with YouTube and be thinking it's just a hobby. It almost causes people to feel burnout and hate their hobby. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's again, like I failed to adapt to a broader mindset. I guess like I at one point I even had a Patreon. I don't know if you guys like know, but I used to have a Patreon. Back in the day, and people used to donate money per month for content, but I failed to have a broader mindset and adapt to a a mindset that isn't hobbyist. And I mean that Patreon like ended pretty bad as a result. I neglected it for too long, and it just I don't know having a Patreon like put so much pressure on me. Like I put so much pressure, like to the point where it kind of left me like stuck. Like, oh my god, like I feel all this pressure to make content. Oh shit, what do I do? And I should like at the time I never had a job, right? I had no work ethic. I had no like scope. I had no idea of like I had no way of like adapting to like a mindset that I'm being paid to do this. So that I never again I never developed a work ethic. You know that involved like monetary gain. So it put pressure, and it kind of made me slow down. You know, and the Patreon, it's gone. Okay, the profile is still there, but I gain nothing from doing anything. So maybe if I had the work ethic I had now, things would be different, right? I would have kept up with Patreon. I would have, fulfilled my essentially obligation to create content. Now that I have experience with work ethics the hard way, what's your next step? I honestly don't know. Because I still have to find a new job because I did lose my job like months back. So I'm on the hunt. I mean, I had a temporary position like like last month, but I already fulfilled the temporary position. I'm unemployed again now. But now that I have work ethic and work experience and the ability to adapt to a monetarily motivated mindset, I mean, at this point, it's too late to reopen a Patreon. That ship has sailed. I doubt anybody would actually want to like donate to a Patreon for me for uh, for my content. Um, yeah, again, I just wish I can like turn back the clock, but have the know how and the experience that I have up here. You know, that would have helped me back then. That would have helped a lot. All I can do now is just, I don't know, move on, I guess. My next step is maybe continue to make content when I can, but I have to focus on my life, my current life issues right now. Um, yeah, you're on the same boat. Yeah, it's hard out there, especially in this economy. Um, Definitely. It's it's hard life, but anyway, I'm just trying to like shoot the shit and try to try to keep my mind off things when I can. So, hence the stream, I guess. Let's see what else is going on Twitter. Not a whole lot of things that are like all that interesting, I guess. Just kind of scrolling through here. Let's see, like what else. Oh yeah, like I made an announcement that I would like make a novelization of Valhalla. That's never going to be finished. I sold the iPad that I had. The story that was on there. I can't really like. I mean, I could go back to like writing it on my laptop, but I guess I'm just not. I'm not motivated to finish it at this point since there's like so much that I have to contend with. So that thing is like on the back burner, at least right now. I didn't expect to like actually, finish that thing anyway. Adapting Valhalla, like that's a big ask. No, it's my speech impediment. Yeah, I do have a speech impediment, so yeah, I some words come out wrong. I am autistic, so that's a detail in case you didn't really know. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I still have like the Modica years later like video. Like I still have to upload the unaltered version of that, like the unaltered version of the Modica video that I did a while back, which sucks because I actually had big expectations for the Madoka years later video that I made a while back, 8 months back. Like I thought since in the length and the effort that I put into it and whatever like the editing that I did for it, I thought that video would surely like kind of take off a little bit. It didn't really do all that well. Um, like it's almost an hour. It's obviously like Reykjavik inspired, right? Like I love I'm a fan of Reykjavik. He makes amazing video game content, amazing essays, and I kind of wanted to like do more of that, you know, with the rebrand, doing a longer form content as well as like reviews and the like. Finally doing like long form essays and whatever at the top, whatever ideas I had at the top of my head, but I have to put that on the shelf right now. I guess I just have to put that on the shelf because there are other things I have to contend with in my private life. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to like watch it, like it's still up, you know. It's altered for copyright. I intended to like originally intended to like upload like the unaltered version on somewhere else. Maybe I will like do that at some point. I have the unaltered version on my computer, just kind of laying there. But it kind of sucks that my most successful video in the last like year or so is essentially like a shit post, right? Like, yeah, let me introduce you to the most successful video of my VTubing career. It's a shit post. And granted, it's a shit post that I like. I'm proud of it. But still a shit post, you know? It's like it's just me shooting the shit. Um so yeah. Granted I like it, but I'm proud of it. Um oh shit. I'm off screen. There we go. Um but yeah, it's just kind of it puts a smile on my face, thighs, but That's not the kind of content creator I wanted to be, you know? Or maybe I should have played more into that. Maybe. Would people actually want that though? That's another question entirely. Cuz I originally cuz for this rebrand I wanted to do more than just anime. I wanted to do like be a critic of all things. Be a critic, be a V critic of anime, but also be a V critic of video games, be a critic of movies and the like, you know. Do all these be a critic in general, but just just got to put that on the shelf still. Yeah, I got to put everything on the shelf right now and focus on what's going on right now. And this has been an AMA stream where I barely answered questions. I just kind of made. I guess this has just been one big like therapy session for me, which I mean, that's not. I don't know if that's even fair on you guys, right? You know, you expect me to like. I'm expected to make content that's like worth a damn. I want to, but my God, like where the direction this stream has gone in is like, wow, wow, dude, this stream has gone off the rails. Who is your intended age audience group? Gen Y? We are in our 30s, so we don't have much time to watch videos, so we are late for the algorithm. We enjoy video essays, but in a way that does not help. Hmm. I, I guess I just, whoever my audience is, you make a good point, you know? It's like the audience of the past have moved on, you know? They don't watch stuff like mine's anymore. So, my intended age audience group is I mean, it's whoever is willing to like listen to my spiel, I guess. I don't really have an intended age group. I mean, I used to curse like a sailor in my like older stuff. Um, I kind of regret it now because maybe my stuff would have been more accessible if I had toned down the cursing a little bit. But yeah, um, you make a good point about people who are now in their 30s who used to be younger. People who used to watch my stuff now probably don't have the time to watch my stuff anymore. So, yeah, you bring up a good point. That's a good point. Um, that is a good point. Anyhow, I mean, I've thought about, you know, if I ever do I thought about live streaming on Twitch. Maybe to nobody, but who knows? Maybe live streaming on Twitch could, you know, could I could build like even a small audience on there. Who knows? If I maybe do it enough, and I don't know. Maybe ask Riz if she can want if she was willing to collab. I've asked like Riz if she's willing to collab, though she's never really got back to me on that. Though we're still pals, you know, after all these years. I helped him a long time ago with getting a new PC back in the day. It was a successful like crowdfunding campaign, and I just but even then I feel like I haven't helped him enough. especially since Riz has gotten fairly a fair amount of success with his own with his own projects. That's pretty good. Gen Z is the group with the most free time and income for advertising. Makes sense that a video with Gen Z humor gets more views. It is a bit disheartening, but it seems that's what's gets pushed. Then I'm a fossil, bro. Holy shit. I am a fossil. I'm a fossil from a different age. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really watch anime anymore. Not as much as I used to. I do watch anime from time to time, but I don't keep up with the newest stuff. Though I have heard, I have partially read Oshi no Ko. I've partially read the manga. I haven't really seen the anime yet, but I know about Oshi no Ko, and I do keep up with Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is pretty good. The manga more so than the anime, to be honest with you. The Chainsaw Man manga is the shit. Um, but yeah, Gen Z being the group with the most free time and income for advertising, how to appeal to people like that? That's a question. Because I don't, my humor is kind of not exactly the most expressive. I've always liked dry humor, you know, um, dry wit, dry stuff, or whatever I can like conjure up on the spot. Uh, yeah, I guess. Let's see here. Trying to look up any updates on my pages here. Man, I feel like I'm an old man, despite the fact that I'm only 27. You know, I'm 27, but I feel like I could get a serious case of arthritis and Alzheimer's at any time. That's what I feel like sometimes. Like, gee, well, like, where did the time go? Like, holy shit. Yeah. Oh boy, time sure flies, man. Time sure flies. I suppose maybe I should like. Nah, I have an idea for a new video, but it's not going to be anything that would, you know, be. It's not my. It wouldn't be my usual video. It'd be something like completely special. Be about a person. That's what I thought about, making a video dedicated to someone who's actually dead, who died earlier this year, but who was fundamental to my growth as someone who consumed YouTube back in the day. A real OG. Yeah, I miss the OGs. Some of them have gone on to do good things. Some have died, fortunately. I'd like to make a video dedicated to someone who I thought was a legend back in the day. Fuck it, who is a legend, but not the most relevant legend, as time went on. But someone who I looked up to as a content creator uh, back when in my childhood. Yeah, wish to make a video about that guy. I'm 32, but I feel 50. Being a millennial, but with a mix of boomer and Gen X values, makes me feel disconnected from my fellow peers. Hmm. Boomer and Gen X values make me feel. I can't. I guess I might be the same way. Because there are some things that I'm kind of in touch with, but I'm out of touch with other things. I guess that's just how growing up is. I guess just kind of feel you just kind of look at the newer people, and you realize, Jesus Christ, there are some of these people weren't even born when the Xbox, when the original Xbox, or the original PS2. Some of these people weren't even born when YouTube was new. And it's like an eye widening thought. It's like, oh my god, like this, people discovering, like the internet, when it's like people who grew up, with social media and content sites like YouTube and the like, already being there. It's like, I wonder what they think. Like, how do they think? You know, I wouldn't know. Like, wow, it's like, you know, just people, we have like new people like coming in, like growing up with a pandemic. It's like, oh my god, how would a pandemic affect their growth? You know, Jesus Christ, it's yeah, time flies. Time flies, all right. Um, see, what time is it? It's 3:49 a.m. where I'm at. I think why a wiser person than I would be going to sleep, right, would be asleep right about now. But I'm just kind of, I don't know. I guess it's just one of those nights. It's one of those. I'm just having one of those nights, and I'm having one of those nights, and I'm just live streaming one of those nights. So yeah, it's just one of those nights. Um, well, I suppose, unless you have like more questions that I can answer, for like an AMA, like I'm gonna give you time to like put them out, like like ask a questions, maybe like see if anybody has like any questions, like go ahead right now. If not, then I might have to like end the stream to like get some shut eye. But I'm willing to answer more questions for this, what was supposed to be an AMA. uh, you know because I don't know, I just felt like doing an AMA, like in general. I thought about it for a while. I figure, you know what? It's late at night. I feel a certain way. I'm reminiscing about stuff. Screw it. Just have an AMA. Just do it. Might as well. Like like it'd be nice to have like one or two more questions, uh, at least, before I head to bed. It'd be nice, you know. Um, be be a way to like cap off the night. Um, this legend was a man named Marcus Spiraccio. He was the Armake 21. You can Marcus Spiraccio was, well. Let me put it this way. Imagine AVGN, but if he was more grounded, right? Back in 2007, you had so many people trying to emulate AVGN. You know, Angry Video Game Nerd in his prime was like the huge. He was the shit back in the day. You had people trying to ape him, but what RMake 21, uh, he he had a similar but at the same time a very unique approach where he reviewed shitty retro games as an angry like personality, but he did so like in a very grounded way. Like, okay, how do I explain it in a metaphor? Okay, like AVGN is an MCU movie, whereas RMake 21 was like a more like independent, like grounded, like superhero movie, like Super or Kick Ass or Defendor, right? You know, something that's a little more, that's less, you know, like fantastical and more down to earth. Like he had this very unique approach where he would angrily review like shitty games, but do so without, you know, all these skits and being over exaggerated. He would just tell it to you like it is in a very down to earth way. And that was actually fairly unique at the time in this like whole crowd of AVGN wannabes, to the point where at one point I actually preferred RMake over AVGN back in the day, because he was more real, you know, he was more tangible as a angry video game personality. You could be like RMake 21. You can be like RMake 21. You can't, if you can't be like an AVGN, because you know AVGN has like, you know, all this like film school knowledge and editing and you know skits and resources, whereas you can this dude, he can just turns on, records some footage, puts on a camera, but he doesn't yell his lungs out. He doesn't try to emulate AVGN. He just kind of, it's just a more cozier, just a more like grounded and more like relatable kind of like angry reviewing. You know, that's like, yeah, man, this game sucks ass. I totally relate. I totally see it. Man, you're so right. This game looks like dog shit. And I loved it. I love that style. And I remember, you know, back in the old days, you know, I was just kind of like watch every single video he ever made. He was one of the people who responded to Chad Warden. Oh God, Chad Warden. That's like a whole different, like, you know, that's its own topic of video that people have already covered. You know, the OG like troll that literally trolled like hundreds of thousands of people into thinking he was like for real about the PS3 at the time. Because I mean, the PS3 ended up being pretty good, but you know, back when it first launched, that I remember that thing was like, you know, derailed for its price tag and lack of, you know, exclusive games for it at the time. Obviously, which would obviously change as the generation went on, but you know, yeah, the PS3 was in a bad place, and there was Chad Warden, and actually Chad Warden is how I discovered RMake in the first place, because he took the bait. RMake took the bait, and he thought Chad Warden was for real, you know, and his response video to Chad Warden was how I discovered him, and that's how I got on the RMake bandwagon at that time. I mean, at one point, even Spoonie, like back when Spoonie was starting out, like Spoonie 1, you know, Noah Antweiler. Yeah, PS Triple. The PS Triple. I ain't talking about that Wii. That Wii shit. Oh God. Yeah, that was simpler times back then. My God. But yeah, that's how I discovered our make and a number of different people I used to watch back in the day who were no longer around. But that's ancient history, you know. But unfortunately, Armake died due to health complications. I think early in the year, and he was such a fundamental, like, as someone who was a YouTuber or a consumer of YouTube content in the old days. Um, he was a very important figure. Uh, you know, and I wish to make it like a telling of, make it like a personal, essay, I guess, about the man, to the point. I mean, even like, because again, like even Spoonie, before he like took off with that guy with the glasses and all that, even Spoonie acknowledged Armake's existence. He was at that level at the time. He didn't start out, as he did. Like, even he, started out small, and just kind of took off at some point. But yeah, like he like Arm. There was a time when Armake was a bigger figure than Spoonie at that time. Like, um, any games that you are interested in playing soon? Tears of the Kingdom. Unfortunately, I sold the Switch that I had. I had the Tears of the Kingdom Switch, but I sold it after less than a week of having it because, well, I have to sell things, unfortunately. But I did have the Switch. Um, so unfortunately, I can't play Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, I've never really gotten into Zelda games, to be honest with you. I never played Breath of the Wild. Never got the chance to play Breath of the Wild at the very least. But I don't know. Like, it looks good. Like, from what I've seen, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom both look good. Both good looking games. I just wish I had like better circumstances surrounding, everything right now, where I had an income and the ability to keep stuff. Yeah, priorities. Unfortunately. So but any games that I'm other games that I'm interested in soon. Um, I'm interested, I suppose. Well, assuming that it's like that it's that the rumors are real, and that quote unquote leak was like an actual thing. I really hope the Persona 3 remake is like an actual thing that's being made. Not that it's going to come out anytime soon, if assuming it's even real, but I want a Persona 3 remake, you know. Cuz that quote unquote leak from a while back looked pretty good. But it could be like fake, you know. I hope it isn't fake, cuz that'd be a good looking remake, you know. Good looking Persona 3 remake. But games that are confirmed that are coming out soon. I'm curious in Starfield. Like, despite the fact that Redfall has gone down like a wet fart, I'm interested in Starfield and seeing how that turns out. I want to play Starfield. What other 20 games in 2023 are coming out? Let's see here. I've already played Resident Evil 4 remake. I played like half of Hogwarts Legacy before I traded it in. I had to trade in Hogwarts Legacy to like get the 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 Tears of the Kingdom Switch that I had at one point. I had to trade it in. I had to trade in Hogwarts Legacy to partially help pay for that Switch that I ended up not keeping anyway, which ironic. Um, I hope Spider-Man 2 comes out this year. So I have a PS5, right? I hope that game comes out this year. I hope it's a thing that won't be pushed back to next year. Um I tried Atomic Heart. I don't know, I couldn't really get into it. But, the game that I'm most interested in is Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, which for people who don't know, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is basically like a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. And I'm like, yeah, baby. It even has the same composer, Hideki Naganuma, and all that, doing his thing, doing his funky, landing his funky beats for the soundtrack to Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, baby. This game. The game looks great. I want to play. I want to play that game like real bad. It's coming out in August, so it's a bit of ways out, but that's my most anticipated game of the year. Um, as for games I've already played like Hi-Fi Rush. That was pretty good. Granted, it gets kind of repetitive after a while, but the soundtrack and the style, you know, makes it worthwhile, to play, at least once. Especially since, my God, the soundtrack in Hi-Fi Rush is almost as if they curated the soundtrack just for me, for my taste. They got like Nine Inch Nails, they got Number Girl on there, they got Black Keys on there. Hi-Fi Rush was pretty good, and the fan art is pretty good too. And the Rule 34, even though it hasn't gotten as much Rule 34 as I would like, but yeah, that's a different topic for another day. We don't. I don't want to go too deep into Rule 34. I wish someone would do Rule 34 of Kitty. That'd be cool. I'm one of those people where, in a hypothetical scenario where if my YouTube, if like in a hypothetical scenario where I would actually find success, and Kitty took off, I would not mind Rule 34 of Kitty. If anything, I would find it like an honor for someone to make porn out of my character, because that's like a sign that you really like my character. And I'd be like, "Damn, dude, you really like my character. It's so cool." Yeah. I but that's just not how it is. But you know what, it'd be cool if someone actually did that, like in a hypothetical scenario. Like, fuck yeah, do whatever you want, bro. Okay, let your passions run free. But I've gone off topic. Yeah, some games in 2023 have have 2023 has been so far been kind of a mixed bag for games, but there have been gems. There have been gems so far. Reminds me that a lot of illustrators start with drawing porn. Yeah, a lot of successful ones definitely start out that way, and for good reason. It helps pay the bills. If they have like a if they have like a Patreon or whatever. Do what you got to do. I don't not I support whatever like helps you like stay afloat, even if it means drawing porn of something. Like do what you got to do, bro. Do what you got to do. You know that's fine by me. Absolutely. Um, but yeah, um, it sucks the chat box on screen isn't working. Yeah, the chat box. Actually, hold on. Let me see if this thing like hold on. Let me see if like do the alerts even work? Hold on. And I know I'm just kind of like, how did you get your avatar model? I actually explained this like earlier in the stream, but I went through like Twitter. Actually, I went through the whole like thing of Kitty's creation, like earlier in the stream. But if you, in case you weren't here, I basically just scrolled through Twitter and looked for people to like who do like live 2D art and rigging rigging. And I found someone. I found somebody, who did both. Again, you know what? Since they deserve credit, and suppose they deserve your attention, any good artist should get whatever exposure they could get. There we go. Like Artha did a good job with this model. You know, I like what she did. Uh, maybe I should have I should have like thought through things a little more, like before I went ahead with like rebranding stuff. But overall, like I can't deny that Artha did her a really good job with Kitty. Um, yeah, just overall, just not much to say other than just did a great job. I just wish that her work was. I wish her work was able to get more exposure. Well, not only get more exposure, but be associated with a popular brand. She deserves to be recognized for being, associated with, a popular, you know, a popular brand, more popular than mine's, that, a brand that actually took off and the like, you know. Yeah. It's just, she did good, but, she did good. Yep, it looks really good. Um, especially for the price that I paid, comparatively to like other models of this quality, other models would like set you back like over 1,000 or potentially like thousands for like $900 plus. You know, she did great. This is a great model. I love this model, and of course, and well, this character is essentially my character, so I'm going to be biased, but she no, she did a great job. Of course she did. She did an absolutely bang up job with with Kitty, with bringing Kitty to life. I get it, but brands don't like risk and go with the usual artist firms. You know, I like to support, like independence, you know. Granted though, albeit independents who at least have some sort of like quality standard to which Artha fit, the mold really well. She's high quality, high quality model, and the price was right. At least compared to other people. Um, and she deserves more exposure and more business. For doing good work or great work, because doing live 2D art and rigging is not easy. Especially rigging a model is a pain in the ass. So yeah, I like that she helped bring this character to life in a way that I couldn't before. Now, if only I can make that comic, you know, if only I can make that comic that I want to make. Which, if you don't know, I talked about making a comic book earlier in the stream, which I still want to do. And I found an artist who fits the mold, but that's assuming that I have the funding to like actually hire the artist, which I don't, not right now at least. But something for the future, I guess. So I want to make a comic book. Um, let's see. That's weird. Actually, hold on. Let me test things out real quick to see if my alerts are like okay. Alerts are wanted to see because okay, so that's working, but the chat box is not working, which is always weird. That's weird to me that the chat box on screen isn't working. I would essentially be adapting what I've okay. So basically, I have like I wrote something on a honey feed. It's called The Kitty from Wives to Wormholes, and I would basically be just adapting what like the story that I've written, but do it as a comic book. So yes, technically speaking, there is a script for a comic. It's just not a comic at the moment. It's a novella. It's a web novella right now. But I want to do a visual thing. I want to do a visual medium, visual storytelling, and the like. Like with visuals and text bubbles and and the like. I want to do a comic. It would be more satisfying and maybe potentially easier to write as a comic book because I don't have to like describe things like in detail or anything or think about how I would describe it. You just have to look at it and go, oh, okay, that's how it looks. You know, that's what I would like as a storyteller. If I could just show you the world, just show you it, just show it. There you go. That's the world. This is what happens. It's all in the eyeballs. You know, it's all in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. But yeah, like I found an artist who could potentially, do it. I just got to raise the money to hire her or him. It's either him or her. I don't know. You'll also get literature experience by adapting it to a visual medium. That and I could potentially like sell it too. I could like sell the comic, like issue by issue, like as like an independent comic. That'd be cool. That'd be nice if I could do that. You know, like have like an actual comic experience that I could maybe not make a profit, but make like at least ideally, like recoup costs so I can make another issue. So I can just continue the storyline. I wish I could do that. You know, have a comic under my name. That'd be sick. Because I can't make movies, right? I don't have the resources to make a movie. But damn it, I could write. I could write, and I could maybe have someone do the art. That'd be something. You know, I could do that much at the very least if I just had the means to, which I intend to have the means to. I intend to save up if I ever get a new job. Save up and get that project rolling. Yeah. But that's like not something that's something I have to like wait on. Um, let's see, what time is it? It's 4:18 a.m. Um, I suppose it's pretty late. Um, but yeah, technically I should be asleep, but maybe I could do one more question, unless you guys are like out of questions, which I understand. This stream has been going on for like 2.5 hours. Did you like writing since you were young? When I was young, I did not like writing, but TV tropes help me love it now. I used to kind of like go off on writing experiments as a child. At one point, I even like made my own like SpongeBob comic book in elementary school, right? Like I drew the art. I had like original characters, like like I used to kind of sort of draw like my own like original comics as a kid. Writing them and doing like little doodles and shit. Making comic books out of doodles that I would draw. The SpongeBob comic I made in elementary school even got attention from like some adults who were like you made this, like people, like some like literature, like people, were introduced to my comic, and I'm like, I kind of sort of got like credit for like kind of like doing this thing that I just kind of did on my spare time at school. And it's like, yeah, I made it. I made this comic book, the SpongeBob comic book. It's like it's pretty. That's pretty impressive. I was like, yeah, because I used to really like SpongeBob back in the day. Back when SpongeBob was good. So, uh, back when SpongeBob was the shit, like and awesome. Back when SpongeBob was still had like Steven Hillenberg behind it. Um, yeah, man. So yeah, I used to, and of course, I would read books. Maybe not novels like back when as a childhood. I kind of when it came to novels, I kind of my first novel that I ever completed was The Great Gatsby, and that was like the first time I like the Great Gatsby opened my eyes to like to novels. And I started to read novels because of it. It really like broadened my horizon, and made me, able to like, it gave me the endurance to like actually read like page by page by page. Yeah, like I was sort of a creator from an early age, sort of. Not a good artist though. I suck at drawing, but I used to imagine and write, my own like my own creative stuff, back in the day, and back when I was at elementary school. You know, I want at some point I thought I wanted to be like a filmmaker, like make movies and stuff. I have a lot of story ideas, but it's like It's just about expressing it. Um, yeah, it's all about, the medium, and I want to express whatever I have in my head to people through visuals, through the help of visuals, I mean. No, except I read The Great Gatsby on my own. Like I never read it in middle school, right? It's not like it was actually around the time the movie was coming out. The Great Gatsby movie by what's his name? The director of Moulin Rouge. That guy. I forgot his name, but it was before the movie came out. I read the novel before the movie, and I'm like, holy shit! I read this thing like for the first time. I read an entire novel on my own, and I'm like, oh my god, books are awesome. Yeah, the Leonardo DiCaprio Great Gatsby. By let me look up the director. Let's see here. Who's the director, man, of that film? Because I know, so I'm familiar with he directed the he also directed the Elvis movie that came out last year. Boz Lerman. Yeah, by Boz Lerman. Um yeah, before I was actually interested in the Great Gatsby because of trailers for the Boz Lerman movie. And I liked it. I really liked The Great Gatsby, though it's not my favorite novel. My favorite novel would probably be The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury, which, by the way, Ray Bradbury is an influence for the kitty. Like, like that vintage, like sci-fi, as envisioned by people in the 1940s or 50s or earlier, 30s even. Like the idea of the future in the early 20th century. The iconography and the descriptions and the ideas and concepts people had for the future back then were inspiration for, or the intended inspiration for the Kitty's world. For the world that Kitty herself inhabits. This sci-fi, future that's as envisioned by people in the in the early 20th century. The rocket ships and the dome, like fishbowl, like astronaut helmets, and the vintage like flying cars, and the laser guns or phasers or whatever, or the alien creatures that look like animalistic, like humanoids, and all this like vintage pulpy, like science fiction of that age. I want like the kitty to be like a throwback to that, of that old, like, kind of like pay homage to it, of that's what I want the comic to be. I want it to be like a sci-fi noir mixed with like vintage sci-fi, mixed with like a westerns, mixed with like pulp fiction, like mixed with like like serialized like thrillers. 20th century future visions were mostly about what the world would be like at the turn of the millennium. That kind of iconography like really fascinates me, because I like sci-fi, but some of the stuff that people back in those days envisioned the future to look like really fascinated me. You know, it really does. Um, just that retro futuristic, like style. You know, it's like futuristic shit. that really like makes me go, wow, like that's like the future, man. Hell yeah. Like just um yeah, just like make a Flash Gordon type like pulp, like but mixed with like film noir, like Philip Marlowe, like a Philip Marlowe, like Philip Marlowe mixed with Flash Gordon, basically. Like film noir mixed with, science fiction, like pulp comics would be my idea for this comic that I wish I could make, you know. Just of especially like with dialogue that like sounds like old fashioned dialogue, or dialogue that's like kind of like the Hayes Code, but albeit a loose version of the Hayes Code. I don't know if you know about the Hayes Code, but they used to be like a thing before the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association, like ratings. Like like G, PG, PG-13, rated R. Before that, there was the Hayes Code. It was essentially a set of rules that movies in the 1930s to like 1950s, and even the 1960s had to abide by, like no cursing, no drug use, no discussion of drugs, like no blood or very little blood, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But because some of but kind of like have that kind of like writing style, because some of the writing in like film noir is some of the best writing I've ever heard. And they have to work within like the limitations of the Hayes Code. That's the kind of like thing I would want to write. Creative dialogue that's limited by a set of rules, you know. Um, Definitely like an old fashioned like pulpy shit. And just kind of, I'm going on about a concept, but hey, like, but I get pretty passionate when it comes to ideas, maybe a little too much. So yeah, I definitely I'm a dreamer, all right. Much to I guess a sort of detriment, but gotta it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, swearing was the thing, like swearing was always a thing, of course, but but they were restricted, during like the Hayes Code era. That you're just not allowed to like like swear and stuff. But as a result of that limitation, though, like especially in in the heyday of film noir, some of the best dialogue you can hear from the old like black and white era, man, some of the best dialogue you can hear is from film noir. Like God, I need to like look up some examples, especially like from films that have like Humphrey Bogart in it, of which Humphrey Bogart is like Humphrey Bogart was is an inspiration for Kitty in the first place.
Boy, that's a very funny joke. Me go straight.
No, it's not just that they had to be subtle, but they also had to convey certain things in a way that are more like metaphorical. They had to use more metaphors. They had to, come up with a, unique lingo. They had to they had to basically like work around how to convey, a mature personality or a mature tone without, going on the deep end and, actually being explicit about it. But, and some of the things that these writers back then did, some witty shit, man. Some stuff that is so quotable you can practically recite it into your brain over and over again. Like one of my favorite films of all time is The Third Man, and I still remember the Ferris wheel scene like the back of my hand, like almost beat for beat. You know,
Good to see you, Hop.
just this.
Good to see you, Harvey. Was that your funeral? It was pretty smart, wasn't it?
Like, oh, I wonder if YouTube would allow me to like show this because it's one of my favorite scenes of all time. This thing.
Good to see you, Harvey. Was that your funeral? It was pretty smart, wasn't it?
Like this,
same old
this
indigestion,
you can
Harvey.
practically
These
teach a
only things that
class
help,
with
these
this scene.
tablets. These are the last. Can't get them anywhere in Europe anymore. You know what's happened to your girl? She's been arrested. Tough, very tough, but don't worry, old man. They won't hurt her. They're handing her over to
You
the
can teach a
Russians.
film,
What can
a
I
writing
do, old
class.
man?
This
I'm
shit.
dead, Hunter.
You can help somehow.
Holly. Exactly who did you tell about me,
I told the police.
Unwise, Holly.
And Anna?
Unwise. Did the police believe you?
You don't care anything at all about Anna, do you?
I've got quite a lot on my mind.
You wouldn't do anything.
What do you want me to do?
Oh,
Be
get
reasonable.
somebody else
You
to-
expect me to give myself up.
Why not?
It's a far, far better thing that I do. The old limelight, the fall of the curtain. Oh, Holly, you and I aren't heroes. The world doesn't make any heroes.
You've got plenty of
outside
contacts.
of your stories. I've got to be so careful.
I'm
I'm only
just
safe
shutting
in
up.
the Russian zone. I'm only safe here as long as they can use me.
As long as they can use you.
I wish I could get rid of this thing.
So that's how they found out about Anna. You told them, didn't you?
Don't try to be a policeman, old man.
What do you expect me to be, part of your...
You can have any parts you want as long as you don't interfere. I've never cut you out of anything.
So I remember when they raided the gambling joint, you knew a safe way out.
Sure.
Yeah, safe for you, not safe for me.
Old man, you never should have gone to the police, you know. You ought to leave this thing alone.
Have you ever seen any of your victims?
You know, I never feel comfortable on these sort of things. Victims? Don't be melodramatic. Look down there. Would you really feel any pity if one of those dots stopped moving forever? If I offered you 20,000 pounds for every dot that stopped, would you really, old man, tell me to keep my money? Or would you calculate how many dots you could afford to spend? Free of income tax, old man. Free of income tax. The only way you can save money.
Oh yeah, you could teach a film
Lot of good your money will do you in
course
jail.
with this one
Jail's
film.
in another zone.
Cinematography and all that. Oh
Yes.
my god, it's a masterpiece.
Besides you.
I should be pretty easy to get rid of.
Pretty easy.
Wouldn't be too sure.
I carry a
Tension.
gun. Don't think they'd look for a bullet wound after you hit that ground.
Dug up your coffin.
And found Harbor? Pity. Holly. What fools we are, talking to each other this way, as though I'd do anything to you. Or you to me. You're just a little mixed up about things in general. Nobody thinks in terms of human beings. Governments don't. Why should we? They talk about the people and the proletariat. I talk about the suckers and the mugs. It's the same thing. They have their 5-year plans. So have I.
You used to believe in
God.
Oh, I still do believe in God, old man. I believe in God and mercy and all that, but the dead are happier dead. They don't miss much here, poor devils. What do you believe in? Oh, if you ever get Anna out of this mess, be kind to her. I think you'll find she's worth it. I wish I'd asked you to bring me some of these tablets from home.
Now, my favorite bit's coming up,
I'd
actually.
like to cut you in, old man. There's nobody left in Vienna I can really trust.
The last
We've always
bit
done everything
here.
together. When you make up your mind, send me a message. I'll meet you any place, any time. And when we do meet, old man, it's you I want to see, not the police. Remember that, won't you? Don't be so gloomy. After all, it's not that awful.
Here it is.
Well, what the fella said. In Italy, for 30 years under the Borgias, they had warfare, terror, murder, and bloodshed, but they produced Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and the Renaissance. In Switzerland, they had brotherly love. They had 500 years of democracy and peace, and what did that produce? The cuckoo clock.
The cuckoo clock.
So long, Holly.
God damn it. I just love that last bit. That last bit right there. It has free space in my mind. Like rent free. Right there, man. Okay, hold on. I got a warning from YouTube. Hey YouTube, it's over now. Don't do anything. It's over. Okay. Yeah, YouTube just gave me a warning, so I guess I'm not going to do that again. But yeah, is it still going? Like, can you hear me? Can you see me? Anyway, that was like, the Third Man. I love the Third Man. Let's see. 4:39 a.m. Okay, you know, I guess I think I should probably head to sleep. Granted, I like that, you know, anyone who's like came on here to, like, you know, hear me talk. Thank you. Thank you 9112 for like indulging me for even a little bit, for, you know, this all this time. Anyone else in here, you know, sound off in the chat. I want to thank you as well. Hatsudopia, thank you for chatting. Let's Sean Busybody. I'm not sure if you're still here. Maybe he left, but thank you. GG1954, thank you for also being in this chat. Basically, thank you for anyone who stopped by, even for a little bit. I want to, I just want to end the stream saying, you know, thanks. And overall, well, I guess this is me like signing out for the time being. So yeah, until next time, until my next project, whenever that'll be, have a good one, and have a good night or good morning, depending on your time zone. See ya.